Well, it was a night to celebrate the Nitro Circus and Travis Pastrana's re-emergence in Monster Energy AMA Supercross and FIM World Championship. But when the dust cleared and it was all settled, another Suzuki rider came out on top. It was Chad Reed's night tonight in St. Louis, and he inches that much closer to maybe locking down this championship, Jim.
Yeah, you mentioned that with 5 rounds to go. He brings it back to an 11-point lead with 5 to go, like we talked about. Anything can happen out there, and, there's no question James Stewart is the fastest man on the planet. There's no question that Chad Reed is the most consistent man on the planet, and we'll see what happens. Chad Reed's been on the box every round through this Monster Energy AMA and FIM World Championship event, and James Stewart's been off of that box. He's had a 7th, and he's had that what was it, a 19th or a 20th in Anaheim 1. So I mean, and the same thing bit him tonight. Anaheim 1, he caught neutral. Chad Reed ran into the back of him. Tonight here in St. Louis, he caught neutral on his own, could not jump up onto the over and under bridge, and paid for it dearly. But he still salvaged a second. That's why we go racing. And, with 5 to go, anything can happen like we see. But, what a great ride for Josh Grant. Good to see him back up on that podium again. It's been a long time since round 2 Phoenix, since we've seen the Joe Gibbs Racing JGR Yamaha Toyota team up on that box. And Andrew Short, coming away with that 4th. That was a consistent run. And how about the missing man, Jason Lawrence, returns back to Supercross and puts in a good ride in 5th.
Now in the lights class, Christophe Porcel had a huge points lead coming in. We can tell he's going to ride in protect mode for the rest of the year and just try to maintain that points lead. That leaves a wide open battle for the wins every week, and lo and behold, a rookie busts through for his first ever career win, Blake Wharton of the Geico Power Sports Honda team. That was a big one for him.
It was, and he gained a lot of confidence last weekend in New Orleans, and that's what I talked about. He won that heat race. He got a chance to ride with some pressure, and the kid focused in on his own race. We talked to him, and I said, hey, just, ride your own race. Don't worry about what's behind you there. And, he had his first podium last weekend, and now he has his first win here in St. Louis. He rode a great race. Happy for the Geico Honda team, and happy for Blake Wharton to come away with his first Supercross win of his career, and the first Texan ever to win a lights main event. So a couple things. He was pretty proud of himself, and we'll see what happens next week in Toronto. And what do you say about Austin Stroop? He got a good start, but he had some problems here. He said there was a few guys that held him up. He comes out of there in 5th. He has to work up and pass a bunch of guys. And Nico Izzi was running 2nd, but unfortunately Nico Izzi on the downside of the dragon back, having that problem in practice, hurt his wrist. And we talked about it before the show. I go, man, I don't know if he's going to show up for the heat race. And he comes out and he rode good, and he just his wrist was bothering him too much. But to salvage a 3rd for Nico Izzi, that was big tonight. And how about Matt Gerke finishing up that 4th? And like you talked about early in the show, Christophe Porcel finishes up in 5th. A little bit different story for Christophe Porcel. He's got a 25-point cushion over his teammate, as opposed to Chad Reed, only 11-point lead over his rival, James Stewart. So it's going to be interesting in Toronto. I'm looking forward to Jeff Stanton designed track, and, it's been a lot of weather and snow up there, and they bring that dirt in. It's muddy. Chad Reed, his quote was, "It's an indoor mud race up there." So we'll see what happens next weekend in Toronto.
And as we leave St. Louis, that means the Nitro Circus leaves us. 55,518 fans came here. I'm sure a lot of them to see Travis, and he did what he could. He did his best. He put on a great show. He just missed the main event, but, man, the fans loved every second of it.
Yeah, and I think, Travis in that last chance race, he had a transfer spot in the heat race and just went down, and just unfortunate thing, but he was banging out there. The reason why he didn't make that main event is because the bike broke. He was running into guys, and they were slamming out there. Marsack was out there battling. It was a great last chance race. Unfortunately, though, the radiator started puking out water, and you can't finish a motorcycle like that. But good to see Travis Pastrana back at Supercross.
Absolutely, and the fans loved it. We're glad to have him here, and we're glad to have you here as well. And, of course, we'll be back for that race next weekend in Toronto. So for Jim Holley, I'm Jason Weigandt. That was Supercross Live, presented by Parts Unlimited from St. Louis. Check us out next week from Toronto.